Okay, I think I'm live. Hello, everybody. I am the elephant in the room, and we're going to talk about the flat Earth today, as soon as some people get in here to help me out. So I'll just wait for a little bit while they get in here. So I'm just waiting for some people to come in here, and then we can start talking. But I am here. I'm alive. Shortly going to be talking about some flat Earth stuff. Probably not going to change any minds, but at least it'll get it off my chest. So if you want to join in or you're interested, there's the link. I posted it. You can go ahead and come in. If I know you, I'll probably let you start talking right away, because I'm not too sure about this thing just yet. Haven't done these very much, so. Check on some stuff here and see if all my links are out where they need to be, and see if I can actually see this everywhere I need to see it. That's not good. Okay, looks like it's working. That's good. So anyway, while I'm waiting, I guess I'll talk a little bit about what was going on. Um, I started hearing people talking about flat Earth, and it just was really weird to me, and I couldn't understand why anybody would think that the Earth was flat, because it seems very plain that with all of our scientific knowledge that we know that the Earth is round, just like pretty much every other celestial body out there. So I went digging and started to look at certain things, and how the flat Earth model was supposed to work. And the first thing that popped into my head was, if the Earth is flat, how does the sun go down? And so I Googled that question and looked on a bunch of different places, and I found some answers that they proposed, and some of that is what I'm going to be doing today, hopefully with some good math, as long as I did everything right. I'm hopefully waiting for a couple of people to come in, um, and make sure that my math is correct, because I don't want to put this stuff out there if it's not correct. So someone to correct me would be nice. Is anybody good with math and knows about light? Those are the two big things that I'm looking for with people coming in here. Or if you just want to talk, that'll work too. But basically, the answer I was given to why the sun sets was, it was a perception thing, because as things, move farther away from you, they tend to get lower and lower and lower until they meet the horizon and disappear. That doesn't seem 100% correct, and it doesn't make much sense when you actually add the math. Okay, I'm going to check on a couple things, invite a few people, and make sure that people know that I'm up.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you just fine. How you doing,
Cool, cool,
Alexander?
cool. Yeah, I'm good, man. How are you doing?
Oh, not too bad. I've been doing some math, man.
Oh dear, oh dear. Number crunching.
Yeah, I know. I thought I was going down the wrong path for a while, but I think I figured it out. So I just kind of want to lay this out there. Are you good with math?
Yeah, reasonable. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I did up a little slideshow just to make it a little bit easier, especially for the people watching to kind of know where this is going. So I'm gonna go ahead and share that right now. I should be able to do that. Okay. Still figuring this out. So that should work. Okay, so you see that?
Yep, I see it.
Okay, so I don't know if you heard earlier, but I was reading up on flat Earth stuff, and they were talking about why the sun sets, and it's because it gets so far away that you can no longer see it, and it's a perspective thing and stuff like that. So I started running the numbers, and this is what I got. So this is the first part of it. I got the diameter of Earth from their model of the flat Earth, which is basically the regular Earth just kind of splayed out.
Yeah.
Um, and so distance from pole to pole is 12,430 miles. Twice that would be the diameter of the Earth, right? So 24,860 miles. The distance that they say the sun is away from the Earth is 3,000 miles. So that's up on the side here. Okay, so by that we can use our a squared plus b squared plus c squared Pythagorean theorem and get our furthest possible distance from anyone to the sun while on Earth if for some reason the sun was at the extreme edge of the disk. It would be 25,040.1 miles. I'm giving them a little bit of, I'm rounding up whenever it's beneficial to the flat earthers. So using trigonometry, our good old SOHCAHTOA, we get the lowest angle the sun would be visible at 6.9 degrees. Does that look about right to you?
As if you yeah, the thing is I calculate in kilometers, so I have to recalculate. But yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, America, freaking
That's okay.
stupid,
That's okay.
stupid system, man. Okay. So we're gonna go over the next one. So by that, well, now before I go into the next one, so one of the arguments that I saw might be coming was that hey, maybe the sun is actually going behind stuff. You know, maybe it's because hey, there's mountains and there's all this other stuff that's higher off the ground than we are, so it could be going behind that. Kind of seems silly, but sure. Let's entertain that for a second. So, given our lowest viewable angle is 6.9 degrees, we can go and the height of the largest mountain is 29,029 feet, Mount Everest. Okay? And then with the angle and trigonometry again, we be the distance to clear the tallest mountain to see the sun would be 45.5 miles away. So as long as we are 45.5 miles away from any mountain, we should be able to see the sun over top of it. Does that follow?
Yeah, yeah, I follow. Yeah.
Okay. So now this is where it's going to start to get a little bit different because this is where it's going to get to intensity of light and stuff like that. Okay. So obviously we know it's not dipping down behind stuff because we'd still be able to see it. It's way too high for it to dip behind anything for us to not be able to see it. So one candle foot, which is the American standard for some reason, again, we got to have our own, measurement units, is approximately 10.764 lux. Full daylight sun. Now, this is just not overhead sun, not direct sunlight, just a full daylight sun is approximately 10,000 lux at supposedly 3,000 miles. So I wanted to know how far away it would take before the sun appeared as bright as a candle at 1 foot, which is how they measure one candle foot. So we've got our intensity and distance calculation here, which is the inverse square relation, right? Am I good there?
Yeah, if you yeah, yeah.
Okay. So we got our 10,000 lux value here for our intensity 1, our 3,000 mile distance squared for our distance 1. And the lumens that, or the lux that we want to hit is 10.764. And so that gives us our x value up here. So anybody who's seen this in very early math class knows cross multiply. And if we cross multiply, we end up getting a value of 91,439 miles. So the sun would have to be 91,439 miles away from you to just, you'd still be able to see it, but it would just be, it would appear as bright as a candle 1 foot away. Now, if we go back and check, the farthest possible distance from anyone to the sun while on Earth is only 25,000 miles, plus a little.
That's according to their calculation, right?
Right. It's according to all their numbers.
Okay.
So it would seem that the distance away that it would need to get to be, and now we can see that there was a recent study on this that they did. I'm not sure how it was scientific a study. They just, you know what I mean. It was a pretty brute force kind of thing, but they found that the naked eye was able to see a candle at 1.6 miles away. So this is a candle at a foot away brightness. So it's still not even close to disappearing. So I also wondered how bright it must be to achieve, what was it? What was my calculations here? I wanted to know, okay, so at max distance, so we plug in our number here, and we want to get to see how bright the sun would be at max distance according to their model. So I plugged that number in there. That's distance 2, intensity of the sun plus its distance, cross multiply again, and we get 143.5 lux. The lux at twilight is approximately 10.8. So that's an order of magnitude plus above twilight. So, given their numbers, there should always be light everywhere on Earth.
Which is impossible. That's a lot, 143 lux.
It is. It's a little less than like a normal warehouse lighting conditions. So it's quite a bit, and I was just hoping someone would be around to check my numbers and make sure I wasn't making some kind of gross miscalculation there. But it just seemed really easy, and those took me about an hour to research and calculate, and all you need is a high school education to get that.
Yeah, if you really want somebody to crunch the number, you need to get Red Rhetorics. He's always with the SpaceX things and the calculating with the missiles, because he also had a discussion a while back with somebody that his whole missile video thingy was fake. It's right.
Yeah, I sent him an invite to this, but I didn't get a response from him. I got a response from Hogtie. Hogtie said he might be dropping by to this too, but
Yeah, Red is hosting already another channel.
oh, okay. Ah, dang. Okay. Well, but that's the numbers that I got up. I don't know if you had anything that you wanted to comment on it, or if you want to invite somebody to, I don't know, maybe argue the other side of this. That might be interesting too. I don't know a whole lot of people. I invited pretty much everybody I know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everybody's already in the channel somewhere because I've been watching the thing. You know what the thing is? This is good brain exercise for you. You know, just do the calculations, do the math. They give you the numbers to work with. And as you see, when you do your own calculations, it doesn't add up. It absolutely doesn't add up. You know, so for you, it's a good exercise. But did you wanted to prove somebody wrong with it, or like I said, was it just a math exercise for you?
No, I didn't want to prove anybody wrong. I mean, I said earlier when I was broadcasting that I really don't plan on proving anybody wrong. But if there's anybody watching that's on the fence or that might have some issues with the flat Earth and maybe going towards that way, it's it just seems that it's very simple to look at the numbers and check it yourself because everything can be solved with math. Well, not everything, but you know what I mean? Like these kind of things, distances and stuff like that, we can figure it out with math. We have the technology. This is old stuff, man. This is Trig is not new, and so if we can figure out angles, we can figure out distances, and then we can figure out, like, like I was showing through the inverse square relationship between distance and intensity, that this is what happens.
Hey, if you want people to join, might be a good thing to copy the link of this hangout in your YouTube description, so people can just automatically join.
Oh yeah, shoot. Let me do that. Um, I forgot about that. Uh, like I said, I'm still kind of new at this. I'm going through.
Yeah, I experimented too a bit today. Uh,
What'd you have going on today?
Oh, just hanging around a little bit. I study sports care, so I'm usually reading, studying, and in the meantime, if I ain't got nothing to do, I just shoot the shizzle with everybody here on Google Hangout. And I thought by myself, you know what? I'm going to experiment myself as well, try to get a Hangout running. But apparently, I cannot do it through YouTube. I have to go through Google itself. So for me, it's like, yeah,
Interesting. Yeah, when they changed the Google Plus stuff and the Hangout stuff, it really messed everything up. Like, I can't find anything anymore.
yeah, I went back. I went to the new one. I went back to the old one, and now I got some, I don't know, weird problems with stuff. For example, just because I went back I went from new to old. Now when I join channels, I automatically get kicked. Some invites I don't get. Some posts disappear, and I'm like, wait, what?
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Okay. Well, it looks like it's there and working. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see if anybody else comes in. But yeah, no, I thought it was funny because it didn't take me long. Like a couple of things I had to relook up because I hadn't done trig in forever. So I'm like, I remember SOHCAHTOA, but exactly how does that work? So I had to look up a couple of articles and stuff like that. And then there was a whole bunch of pages that I was looking through, especially for their calculations and their numbers. And then what values of lux and all that stuff was. And at first I was trying to calculate lux into different things, and I was like, this is just going too far. I think I need to break it down a little bit more simply. um,
Yeah, exactly. Because that's the same thing they're doing. They're just pulling numbers out of their ass. So you trying to, be Einstein and all about it. It's not necessary. You see what you did. You pulled numbers off the internet. You made some basic calculations. Boom, disproven. Simple as that.
and that was, I was trying to give as much liberty to the flat earthers as possible, because the lux I used for the sun was just daylight lux. Direct sunlight lux is about 100,000 lux.
Yeah, I know. That's yeah. Burn your eyes out. No, the thing was, I was watching. Somebody had this beef. Somebody here on Google Plus with one of the flat earthers deliberately addressing kids and stuff. Teens and who were in this flat Earth ideology of you know what? I'm trying to do a good job with my videos. Please come support me and everything. And I don't know what. And it's just ridiculous that people are trying to influence other people to give them money to support an ideology that's based on BS. And I went like, nah, this is going too far. That people make these things, and that they have this certain ideology and they want to portray their story, and they want to come up, like you did bunk their numbers, to come up with odd numbers and whatever. But then starting to target a specific audience to get money to continue your BS, that for me is pushing it too far. And that's what I saw today. I went like, nah, are you kidding?
Yeah, and I've been seeing this stuff pop up more and more, and whole communities devoted to, oh, it's the flat Earth, it's the flat Earth, and there's so much that needs to be figured out to actually make the flat Earth work, that it's just this gigantic house of cards that is very precarious. Whereas the slightest little twitch and everything crashes down. There's just so many questions. Anything, like, if you say, hey, the earth is flat, any question that somebody asks is probably going to defeat that.
Yeah, exactly. Because 2 days ago or something, I posted something made by, I don't know, Vsauce or Big Think, I don't know, some mainstream science site on YouTube. And well, they got the money, they got the resources, so they let some professional people work on it, and they did the math and they did the calculations, and the only place where it's actually pretty sustainable is on the side. So you just have a small slither of where you can actually just normally walk. Because if you just walk on the flat Earth as it's supposedly be, all the buildings have to be slanted, and due to the gravity pulling everything into a center, the flat disk will eventually, in a given enough time, will turn into, you guessed it, a sphere. So the numbers they are giving, according to nature, it doesn't matter if you tinkle with it, if you just flatten the earth as a pancake, due to gravitational forces, rotation, gravity, whatnot, it doesn't matter. Given a certain amount of time, the flat earth will become a ball again. So that was pretty interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was on Vsauce because I've seen that one. I remember
Oh yeah,
the guy walking along the edge towards the outer side, and
exactly.
the
Yeah.
gravity just increasing and increasing. Yeah, that was pretty funny. And it's things like that. For a flat Earth model to be viable, we have to scrap everything we know about gravity, everything that we know about the motion of planets and stars, everything that we know about the sun, the moon. We have to add another freaking celestial body up there, this shadow thing, whatever. Um, we have to reconfigure what we think about the seasons. Everything changes, and none of it makes sense.
Exactly. But it is a good brain exercise though, because even though it's absurd, it's out there. It's an absolute good brain exercise. But the thing is, most people here on G Plus are either, those debaters on theism, atheism, uh, debunking. I don't know what kind of other stuff. But I'm more of the ethical, let's say, psychological guy. Like I said, I study sports care, and psychology is also a big part of it. I'm also all the no, how do you say it? I'm also very interested in the psychology behind these ideas these people have, because to me, as we live in 2016, with all the stuff we got, the internet and the digital age, and the libraries full, and I don't know, millions of scientists, that there are still people that live in this society, in this world, that actually believe stuff like that. And to me, that's intriguing. Where do you get it in your right mind to disprove all you see around you? Pictures from satellites, from the International Space Station, from I don't know, the spy planes that fly in the atmosphere. You see the Earth is curved, and I think to myself, do these people have a cognitive problem? What's going on with these people? But some of them, I know, they're trolling, but there are people that genuinely believe this. And to me, that's a little bit of a scary part, because the thing is, if somebody truly believes something, they will try to convince everybody else. And yeah, that's a task for people like you and me, just to confront those people and say, "Hey, man, what are you doing? Are you out of your mind?" And that's the interesting part for me, because what motivates these people to, either, now, okay, be a troll. That's pretty easy, just for the lols. But people just to follow that ideology, that concept, and actually full-heartedly believe in it. Like one of those street preachers, they come up to you and says, "Well, why don't you believe the facts are here and this and that?" But actual, how do you say that? Fanaticism. How do you say that? Fanaticism, something like that.
Yeah,
And
fanaticism.
yeah, they're actually fanatic about it. And like I said, to me, that's the interesting part, but also a bit of a scary part. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to find this. There was a debate thing. It was it debates.org, I think it was. I found this debate challenge from some guys. He's like, I'm a major in physics, and I'm gonna prove flat Earth. And some guy was like, okay, go for it. And then in the first two sentences that the first guy posted, this major in physics, this college student supposedly misspelled two simple words. One of them was evidence. And And his first point was, here's my five proofs on why the Earth is flat. Number one, intuition.
Okay.
Okay, so you're a science major and you're going with intuition as your first proof. Come on, dude.
Oh man, yeah, he's gonna flunk if his professor see this. No, not in my class. You're not staying here. You're going. Yeah, yeah. Wow. But yeah, you see, like I said, you see how easy it is. You pick up the numbers, and I see you're better in trigonometry than me. So it just sees how easy it is. Oh, yeah, I'm a physics major. That guy's not a physics major. He's trolling, man. A physics major that even spells the word evidence wrong, and then the first point he says is intuition. Right. There is experimental proof of a flat Earth. Are you kidding me? Was it a couple of weeks ago? Somebody found an image of somebody that made a model or map of the flat Earth, and in the top left corner it says first initial draft. I went like, right. You need a first initial rough draft to get a map of the planet. This is insane, man. I would just get these people admitted and put on observation for 48 hours because they need help.
Yeah, I think the education system is part of the problem too, because most of these people, now there's some other places, but you know, most of these people are in the United States, and we have sorely mistreated our children when it comes to education in this country, and it's only getting worse. But all it really takes is an idiot. Like I'm not a smart guy. Like I think of myself as maybe smarter than the average. I don't know, but whatever. I'm not like a genius. I don't have a full college education. I've been taking college courses, but I have a high school education, and it took me about an hour just to run the numbers and prove this. It's not hard. You can do it for yourself if you're wondering. And I just think that these people don't have the. It's either they don't have the education or they are just brainwashed into the mentality of an authority said it, so I think it's true.
Yeah, the thing is, it's we talk about it like it's, oh, these people are crazy, and it's easy to debunk and everything, but we must not tend to forget that there's a whole ideology, a whole thought process with those people behind it. You have, like I said, you have the internet, you have vast amounts of information. It could be everything. Like for example, Red Rhetoric had that discussion a couple of weeks ago with somebody about what was it about I think I saw the curvature of the Earth, something like that. And I was it was live, and we was listening, and eventually the more evidence Red produced, the quieter the other guy get. And at the end, the other guy said, "You know what? I'm gonna come back to this. I'm gonna find more evidence, and I hope you will eventually see it the same way as I did. But don't get me wrong. The reason I figured this all out was that was one evening. I wanted to understand a whole lot of stuff better, so I placed a spell on myself, and then the room went quiet. Y- And I thought, you placed a spell on yourself. So the guy was actually convinced that by placing a spell on himself, he got the wisdom to understand the flat Earth theory. And I went like, right. These people have access to the internet. Not a good thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can't believe that one.
Really.
I got to say, uh, yeah, I've heard the same kind of crazy things from different people on here too. But gosh, I don't. Besides this, I mean, honestly, I don't know what else that I can do. It's education is going to help people, and if this keeps on going crazy like this, people are going to end up, you know, just in a sad state of misunderstanding, and our future scientists can't afford to not understand how gravity works.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, it yeah. Like I said, there's so many things behind it. For first of all, the education system, but second of all, do we even allow people, or especially the youth, which is the most influential of yeah, influential, um, uh, do we even give them enough room to figure stuff out for themselves in the process that they're growing up, or are we just bombarding them with rules and protocols, how they should learn and what they should learn, and how they should behave, and then when they finally get time for themselves, they discover that there's a whole world out there, and then make up their own mindset, and it's at one point it's very interesting, of course. Maybe you found out something new. Hey, maybe the earth is flat, who knows, and they get into it. And I always say that I always call this the Facebook trap, because the more you're into it, the more things you start to find, what's behind the next click, what's behind the next message, what's behind the next, and it's a constant reward. So these people who are into this flat earth stuff and actually have a sense of, they believe in it, they are actually neurologically programming themselves to continue on believing it. And once that process sets in, oh man, you have a real hard time convincing these people it's otherwise. um, and I think that's the most dangerous part, because I also tell that to a lot of people here on G Plus, to people that try to debunk the flat Earth, the theism, atheism discussion. So the more you attack people, the more defensive they get, the stronger they start to believe in their own ideology. So it's not going to work. If you want to discuss on Google Plus, if you want to debate on Google Plus, do it for your own exercise. Maybe once every 10 people, they get converted, and they, oh yeah, right, this is not the truth, and I need to follow mainstream science. But mostly it's like we have a saying here in Holland, because I'm from the Netherlands. It's like carrying water to the sea. You know what I mean?
I like that. I'm gonna have to use that from now on. Um, for anybody who's watching, if you want to join, go ahead and join. The link's there. If you want to talk about this, if you have some differing opinions, please jump right in. We can talk about the math of it. If you think I screwed up or whatever, or if you got somebody who you know that might want to jump in, then you can send them the link also. I'm welcoming anybody. But yeah, I like that carrying carrying water to the ocean. That's good. Uh, uh,
Because the thing is, because they're doing a little bit of calculation on Red's channel himself, the curvature of the Earth. For example, that guy, like I forgot what his name was, 3,000 years ago, who calculated, or 2,000 years ago, who calculated the curvature of the Earth by putting two sticks in the ground in the shade.
I know, right? Two freaking sticks, and we knew it was round. Like this is not hard, people.
Yeah, because yeah, and there's even probably a website or an app for it. GeoGebra. Obscuration by the horizon shared. Yeah. Nah.
Well, we actually use it. I'm in the army here actually, and we actually use it as an alternate form of if we don't have a compass or something like that, and we need to find direction, then you can simply take a stick, shove it into the ground, mark
Wait
the end
15
point.
minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, wait
Wait.
15 minutes. Yeah, and you put a stick in
uh,
between, and you stand, and wherever it points is north. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So two sticks in the ground. Come on.
So yeah, we can figure this out pretty easily. It's not. It started out being harder than than I thought it was, but when I finally came to my senses and realized it was just a simple exercise, it fell together, and it was just this number into this number. The only thing that I really hadn't remembered because I really hadn't thought about it since probably 10th grade science was the inverse square. That I had to find out because I couldn't remember if it was a linear or what the progression was for the intensity of light going away. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that has to deal with light and how it works and stuff like that and the scattering and whatever. And yeah, there is no reason that the sun, if it's even the farthest away, and that's granting also, excuse me, that's granting also that the sun could at possible be at the very edge of the disk, and you would be on the very far other edge of the disk. This is the extreme case here. This isn't the normal case where they're saying, oh, it's just at the Tropic of Cancer. That's the southernmost point that it goes. No. So that gives me more. if I do the calculations then.
Yeah, because well, yeah, they're probably just I don't got that's the thing that amazed me. Where do they get the numbers from? No, it's 3,000 miles away. Are you kidding? If the sun would be 3,000 miles away, we wouldn't be here, man. Hey, I got another question. You said you were in the army, right?
I am.
Yeah. Let's say, for example, you're in the army, and and you got some new recruits and everything, and you got this fresh dude who came in, and he's a pretty good guy, and he turns out to be a pretty good soldier. But how would you react if he came to you with a story like this? Because I would be like, wait, what? I'm not trusting you with a gun.
Oh yeah, I'd think he was nuts. I would definitely try to convince him otherwise for his own sake and ours. But I actually had a similar thing. Um, I had a soldier. Have you ever heard of the straw man thing? Not the straw man fallacy, but have you ever heard of the straw man tax thing?
I- I- is had it anything to do with the free man or something, the man from the land? What was it?
It's kind of in a similar vein. It's basically that when you're born, when they give you your birth certificate, that says they own you, and now you know this is your straw man persona, but your actual persona doesn't actually have any debts and all this. Like, look it up. It's funny, but it obviously doesn't make any sense. But he came to me at one point with that, saying, "Oh yeah, no, this is true." I'm like, "No, you look at it for 5 minutes and you can realize it's stupid." It's like, how do you believe this, man?
Yeah, but what do you yeah, there was some points, the thing is, I must agree and disagree. If you're born a free person. Actually, you're not obligated to anyone. But the thing is, on the other side, you do have to realize that you live in a society. You just can't take off and wander in the bush and do all this stuff by yourself. So I'm always a little bit torn when it comes to our existence, to humanism, when we're on this planet, because actually nobody owns us. We're not obligated to anything. The only problem is we live in a society. You live in the States. I live in Europe. Yeah, there's a group of people that run the country. You just have to follow the rules that they set, and that's it. If you don't like it, you go somewhere else. Um, so I'm not a supporter of expressing those rights while you live in a country, and while you have to obey by the rules set by the leaders of the country. But I do believe if you really want to live that way, that's fine. But then you have to go to a place that supports it, and don't try to spread that news in a society that, yeah. What kind of point does it have? What where will it get us? Everybody start to rebel all of a sudden, and think like that. Then everybody will go out and move in the bush. Yeah, so like I said, I'm a bit divided about it. Some things, yes, correct, but some other things you got to be realistic. It's yeah, but people will keep coming up with the weirdest things. For example, in the states, you have those what do you call those guys? Not constitutional guys, but the people that say that nobody owns us and we're right free. And when they're, for example, in the car, they're not driving, they're traveling. How do you call those people again?
Oh gosh, I can't remember. I know what you're talking about though. They have that card that says, "Oh, you don't have the right to do this, and you don't have the right to do that," and all that
Yeah, exactly,
stupid stuff.
exactly.
That that stuff aggravates the hell out of me because like people don't realize that government in its basis form is basically an agreement between the government and the governed, and it's a two-way street. The government says, "Hey, I'll provide this stuff for you if you provide this stuff to me." Now, most of the time, the stuff that it's providing are like military services and protection and things like that, and the stuff that the people provide to the government are the taxes and what have you. And this has been going on for as long as we have history. Now, the point of shift is, the the government will only be able to really take from the people. Oh gosh, what was the word I was looking for? It was a whole freaking section in the philosophy class I was taking too. But basically, uh, the more the people want from the government, the more that they're going to have to give up. And that happens until there's an equilibrium of what the people aren't willing to give. We're not willing to give you any more, and then the government's not willing to give up anymore either, and they kind of reach that equilibrium. And if it happens where the government keeps trying to reach over, usually there's an insurrection, a coup, and the government gets taken over, reformed, yada yada yada, and then new government.
Yeah, the thing was that they called the sovereign citizens or
Oh
something
yeah,
like that.
sovereign citizens. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's just people fighting against the established order. Like I said, everybody can have. Well, I didn't say it, but what I mean is everybody can have their ideology, their certain mindset, and that's fine. And a lot of things do fit in society, but a lot of things like kicking against the foundation of society, um, it's not going to get you anywhere. Maybe you get a couple of more members. Hell, maybe you get a couple of hundred members, maybe a couple of thousand members. But still, the rationale of everybody else is like, what are you going to do? Huh? You want to overthrow the government? You want to lay down your law? What's going to be the difference? Absolutely nothing. Well, maybe even for the worse. Who knows? Um, yeah, I think that's interesting. But on the other hand, it's also nature. People like to fend for themselves and tend to their own and live their own lives, and a lot of people just inherently can't take it if somebody else tells them what to do, when to do it, how to do it. But yeah, I always say you have to deal with it. And if you don't want to deal with it, pack your shit and leave and go live in Alaska or something. You got all the space there you want.
Yeah, that's true. Um, it's just I see these videos all the time where someone will get pulled over, and the example I'm thinking of, this guy he got pulled over at a DUI checkpoint, which is completely legal to have a DUI checkpoint. He rolled down his window like 3 inches maybe, and the officer said, "Hey, I need you to roll down your window." And he's like, "No, this is as far as I'm gonna roll it down." And he's like, "Dude, I just roll down your window. I'm giving you an order. You're supposed to comply with this. Roll down your window." And he wouldn't do it. And like the guy hadn't been drinking or anything like that. He just wanted to be stubborn about everything, with this freaking sovereign citizen thing. And it's like, dude, you could have rolled down your window, handed him your license, and he smelled no alcohol, had no reason to think you were drinking, and then gave you back your license and you went away. And that was all that had happened. But instead, you got arrested because you're dumb and you decided to not comply with police orders, which you agree to by being a citizen of this country, and now you want to complain about it. It's silly, and it's that kind of mentality that breeds these flat earthers too, to where it's like, well, oh, everybody's lying to me and everybody's out to get me, and oh, and my gosh, and the fact that they want to say that we've never been into space too. It's like, oh yeah, no, like 10 different countries are lying, even the ones that are against everybody else, and they would have had evidence that they're lying, so they would have given it up. Like Russia. If Russia knew we were lying about going to the moon, they would have told everybody immediately, "Hey, nope, they're totally faking it here. We've got the proof." But no, we know we've been to space. We've seen the Earth from space. We've seen the moon. We've been on the moon. We know all this stuff. This is fact. You've got to get over it. I don't care what your silly book says about the disk of the Earth and anything else. It's round. It's spherical, or not spherical. It's a spheroid. I'm not going to say it's perfectly spherical because it's not, but it's a spheroid, and it's not flat. We know this. There's tons of tests, and there's tons of reasons why your flat Earth theory is wrong.
But they also try to support it with weird ideas, like for example, the moon isn't real; it's a projection. I mean, like, how big does this projector need to be, man? You know. What else do you hear? Stuff like I say, for the calculation with the sun rotates like some kind of spotlight above the earth, and I must give it to them. They're intuitive. I'm not intuitive. I mean inventive. with the stuff coming up. Um, yeah, it's an ongoing thing.
I hate the disc thing, or not the disc thing, but the spotlight thing too, because we can see the sun, we can see the sphere of it, we can see it rotating. We have all of the evidence that we need from here to tell that the sun is a sphere. All of it.
Yeah, that's what you.
And
This is what you get when you live in your own world. You live in your own head. It, yeah,
it's just like when you've got to keep on piling these absurdities one after the other because everything that you produce has a defeater, then your position is probably wrong.
yeah. But could we just invent a pill just to fix all those people straight away?
I've got a pill. It's got a full metal jacket. It's about the only thing that can fix that, I think. I don't know. But I don't know. It's when it gets tied to religious beliefs is when it really gets almost impossible to combat because these people are going to believe that no matter what because their book is infallible. And it's upsetting to have that kind of opinion because these are the same people that think that all men are imperfect, and so if you're imperfect, you could be wrong about the fact that your book is infallible.
Yeah.
Hello, like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it doesn't compute with them, and I don't get that. At least have some kind of speculative mind and research stuff. Like it doesn't take long.
Well, they do that. They do the research. Only it's in the wrong direction. It's with the wrong information. It's with the wrong ideas behind it. But do understand that there is a huge difference in human capabilities, in cognitive capabilities. Um, some people have just reached a certain potential, and I'm not saying they're stupid, but as comprehension goes, they just reached a certain level. And sadly, the majority of the people is like that. Even though people may listen and say, "Oh, well, you're wrong. It's not like that." It happens more than you think. Rational people, or at least who think they are rational, get notified of some sort of thing, this new thing, let's say flat Earth or aliens or whatever, and for some reason their interest gets triggered, and the human brain is a weird thing by itself, because the more abstract something is, the weirder it is outside of your normal comfort zone, the more your brain is drawn to it. An easy explanation has to do with how we used to live when we still lived in the woods. um, if something was out of the ordinary, it will catch your attention, because maybe next time that thing out of the ordinary could be some tiger or bear jumping out of the bush. And your brain will always remember that because it's an abstract. And stuff like this, because we already know for hundreds of years, 2,000 years, that the earth is round, and that we orbit the sun, and blah, blah, blah. And it's because it's normal. It is imprinted as normal. So it's daily routine. And then, for the brain, it's a safe zone. We know this, and it's okay, and I can go out, and the sun will be there, and the earth is round, and yada yada yada. But then some, like I said, some thing pops up, and it's out of the ordinary. And yeah, like I said, some people just don't have either the control, they don't even have the cognitive capabilities, and the brain goes like, hey, I need to pay attention to that. And I started to think about it a little more. And like the guy that Red did the interview with, he was the same. It caught him a little bit, and then it started, a little bit of doubt, and then he started to look into it further. Yeah, and then the first seed is planted, and then it's over. And that's how your brain functions. The more abstract stuff is, the more abstract stuff you find, the better your brain will remember it. Yeah, and that's the problem. And then they come on here, and we test them, and we battle them, and the only thing we're doing is we are strengthening what they are doing in their own time. So we actually making it worse here.
So what's the right approach? Do you think? Then I know very little about psychology. I took a
Let them speak.
psychology class in high school, so
Let them speak. Let them speak. Look, I always say if you know the truth and something is the truth, you can ask me a million times, you will get the same story, you will get the same result. Hence our scientific method. If you can break it, it's a fallacy. So we got to retest it. It's the same with people. They will run themselves amok if they just spread out all the stuff and look at this and look at this, and but then you just say, okay, what do you really think about it compared to all the other stuff you see? You also have to do a bit of self-reflection because the constant assault is, shutting the gate. Um, l- Maybe it sounds a little bit manipulative, but drawing them out and saying, okay, tell your story, come with your facts. You know, if you let them talk and they know the numbers will not add up at the end, they will reach a point where they have to think, yeah, what do I do now? Do I continue to believe this ideology, or do I just say, okay, screw it, and I'm going back to to uh, to correct science, so to speak. That's the thing with people. If you attack them, they shut down. Let them talk, they will run themselves into the ground with false numbers. It's not that hard.
kind of let them paint themselves into their own corner and show them what they've done.
Yeah, because the evidence is incorrect. You cannot get your how you say that? You cannot get your win or whatever. I don't know the right terminology. You cannot get your victory with um, um, false information. It doesn't work. But that's the thing. You need to be patient with it. You need to let it develop and people come out of their shell. Um, and that is actually the only thing that works. People need to see their own mistakes. It's the same with motivation. I can motivate you all you want. Come on, let's do this. And but if the switch in yourself doesn't turn around and you get the thought, okay, screw it, I'm going to do it, nothing's going to happen. It's the same with this information. People need to, know, process the information, and all of a sudden the brain goes like, yeah, but it is something that triggers my attention, but it does not fall under the label of logic. So that's the only thing you actually could do. And in the meantime, of course, hey, what do you think of this and what do you think of that, instead of, no, you're wrong and this is wrong and look at this, and no, 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 what do you think? Because if you ask what do you think, they have to be in their head. And that's where all the action happens.
Yeah, unfortunately, one of the things that they think is what the other people have told them to think. A lot of times, that's what I get from, anybody that I talk to on G Plus is, I go, hey, what do you think about this? And they, go right to whatever prepared script is available to them from whatever site that they've got, creation.com or whatever they got, and they're like, oh well, this and this. It's like, dude, no, stop. What do you think about it? Not what does somebody else think? What you've read up or whatever? What does this really make sense to you? Or are you just believing it because the guy who supposedly knows everything about the Bible told you this is what you should believe?
And the thing is, and look, when memories are formed, when you form a memory, the most powerful memory is the memory that is accompanied with a powerful form of emotion. May it be love, anger, sadness, doesn't matter. Um, but um, everybody has what I call a eureka moment. For example, when you search upon the net, you need to find some information. It's like finding the Holy Grail. Ah, yes, I found something. Like, you have that aha moment. You're happy. That's an emotion. When people that, and I'm not talking about flat earthers in specific, but everybody that finds a piece of information that is appealing to them in an emotional way, has a stronger connection with that than, for example, you need to look up a word in a dictionary. That's very mundane. You look it up, okay, thank you. But if you are looking for something and then the click happens with an emotion, oh yeah, yep, you're screwed. You're screwed. You screw yourself over. Your brain is a passive computer, you know. Um, and it just goes along and says, okay, this is new. I get an emotion with this input. Okay, let's make a connection. And yeah, like I said, it's a whole ongoing process. People here around tend to be more uh, easy around it, saying, "Oh, these people are just stupid and they're wrong." No, it's a whole complex situation. You know, it's emotional, it's private, it's surroundings, it's triggers, it's intensity, it's routine, and if you want to prove those people wrong, you really need somebody that just started to believe in that nonsense. You can change their mind, or the experience to change their mind should be twice as emotional as the original emotion got them in, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It makes a lot of sense, man. Hearing the psychological point of view definitely makes things a bit different for me. Um, it's been about an hour. I took an hour from you. I appreciate you coming by. I want to thank you very much for your help
Mm,
um, and your conversation. It's been great. Thanks for everybody who watched this.
mm.
Uh, check out my channel on YouTube. Check out my channel on G Plus. Hopefully, I'll have more stuff out. Uh, but I got to come up with some more topics because this was just kind of a spur of the moment thing. But that's it for me. And what I want to do is, Alexander, since you were kind enough to join me here, I want to give you the last word in my hangout.
Hey, I just wanted to say, if you find a problem and you know you can solve the problem, go for it. You just go for it. If you know, hey, somebody is wrong, and you can prove them, you can prove that you're right in a good way, in an adult way, in a scientific way. Just go for it. You know, even if they don't want to listen, it's still a good brain exercise for you.
All right. Thanks, Alexander. Good night, everybody.
All right, you're welcome. Peace.